Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and you guys know what time it is. Time to talk about current events in the online fitness community, and a number of people have linked me a video by Jeff Cavalier, aka Athlean-X, aka Curl-Lean-X, and basically it looked like a V-shred video to me. So let me put on my plus 5 head of Speechcraft and let's talk about this, because that's the funny thing, guys. I criticize about once a week we go through and we kind of make fun of a V-shred video because it's usually all about partial reps and not doing full range of motion and not knowing how to bench press and doing home workouts that don't require any weights. And then Jeff has called Vince out for his bullshit before himself, and then Jeff basically makes a V-shred video. That's what it was. And I'm going to make this very, very clear. There is never any excuse ever for any reason to be forced to do this form of bodyweight exercise. I've covered that in numerous of these V-shred videos, right? I've covered that over and over and over. And it's always this excuse, right? These guys, these clowns online always use this excuse. Well, a lot of people are traveling, they're on vacation. And if they're on vacation, they might need to do this. You guys telling me that if you're out on vacation in the middle of the damn jungle and there's not a piece of steel anywhere around. Now, because I know all of you guys on your vacation resorts and your business trips, there's gyms, right? The majority of you guys can find a bench and a barbell, right? That's not a problem. You can still bench press, still incline bench, right? But let's say you're in the jungle. You're telling me you can't find a way to train? Now, I get it. You know, his point is that, well, you know, some things would be hard. Like legs, I'll agree, right? With legs, you're going to have to go find something to pick up on the ground. You know, you're going to have to go out into the jungle or the woods and find a 300-pound boulder and do straddle lifts with it. I get that. You have to go find a log that weighs 50 or 100 pounds and clean it up and do chest presses and, you know, standing presses and stuff with it. I get that. But having to do these silly-ass push-ups for your chest, even if you're on vacation or you're on a business trip, are we serious? Is this a real problem? And the point I'm going to make is that they're completely useless. And he actually made the mistake, and that's where he messed up. People of any level of experience could benefit from this. Really? I can't. That's not even a deload for me. That's not even a deal for someone who's actually trained seriously. Is any form of serious lifter? No, you're not going to get a training effect from that. There is simply not enough tension there. Maybe if you did the bouncing ones he did where it's almost a dynamic effort thing with someone sitting on your back, right? You get you someone who weighs about 150 pounds to sit on your back to do them, maybe. But how hard is it to just go find a pair of bars to dip between? Right, we could find something to do dips on and have something set in our lap. I mean, go look. I mean, the worst case, go look at all these guys over. It was this whole thing that you came out for a while back online. I'd never heard of it before, like this bar stuff. Guys in the ghetto who can't afford gym memberships go into a park and they do all these pull-ups and dips and muscle-ups and all this other stuff. They're doing that without access to any equipment. You can't find something to do some dips between because a push-up is just not acceptable. Now, I get it. I'll be the first to say that for work capacity and conditioning purposes, you know, a push-up after all your heavy work or as a feeder workout of some type, it has its place. Okay, don't get me wrong. There are serious strength athletes who do this stuff, right? But not as a primary workout. And so what does he think he's achieving? There's no tension there. And he's like, oh, it's all about the accumulated fatigue. But that accumulated fatigue, you know, we're getting into a point of contention regarding the science as to whether that actually creates real lasting hypertrophy or not, or whether it's transient storage factors. So to stand there and say that anyone of any level of experience could benefit from this, I'm going to say no. A novice lifter, but what if you have someone who's actually trained reasonably hard for an entire year? If someone, let's say you take someone who's run one of my novice programs for an entire year, or they've run starting strength for an entire year, they're going to detrain if this is what they do. They are going to lose performance and strength and muscle doing just intermediate workout. It's not enough for an intermediate. And that's the problem. It's doing this silly nonsense and pretending you don't have other options. There's no need to do these sort of things, because what did he have them do? Doing this weird thing where they come over and do a push-up and then lift their hands and then press back off the floor, which is, the equivalent of like dynamic effort work, like what you guys see me do with band and chain work on usually Fridays. But there's not enough weight there to do real dynamic work for anyone with a strength-based build. And again, you don't have the accommodating resistance or any of that stuff. So it's not really viable, because on a push-up, you're stuck with half of your body weight. All right, so for me, that's just barely over 100 pounds. That's just not enough weight to do anything with. There is no way to get a training effect from that, at least in sort of the mechanical tension that you need, even with maximum acceleration. Right, even using compensatory acceleration is not quite enough weight. It's not going to work. And so he's got people doing this stuff, and here's the thing I would point out. Okay, maybe we could discuss some of these strategies for your legs. All right, I get it. But for things like your back or your chest, they probably have a barbell at your gym, like the hotel gym. They probably have a bench at the hotel gym. Okay, you might not be able to go heavy. You might be limited to 225. Okay, well, if you got 225, you could do some dynamic work, right? You could do some dynamic work. You could do something with that, or you could just rep it out. You come in and do 10 sets of 10 or something. I mean, you can do something if they've got, 4 plates and a barbell in their little cheap gym, and that's all the bench will safely hold, or that's all the plates they have. But you're going to find that in a hotel gym. Worst case, they probably have a machine press of some type that might go up to 300 pounds or something, a machine weight. You can find something to do there in the gym. And we can always find something to do pull-ups or chin-ups on. Find a tree to do that on if you have to. But the point is, there's going to be something in the local gym. And if not, there's going to be a gym down the street near your hotel. Right? There's going to be a gym that you can go to for a couple of workouts during a week out of town. This is ludicrous to have to do this stuff. And the same thing, let's say you can find something to do dips on. Dips are vastly superior to push-ups for just general as a primary exercise. If you're forced to do something, you could go find some bars in a park or a pair of benches. I mean, there's park benches that are set close enough together all over the place you could get into that are a V-shape you could do dips in, right? And if you're out hiking for something, you're on vacation, you probably got a backpack. Maybe you got a girlfriend or a wife who could jump up on you, piggyback while you do them, or sit in your lap if you're going to be forced to do the ones where you put your feet forward. Right? There's something you could do that's going to be 10 times better than this silly shit, because you're not going to get a training effect from it. And this is kind of the point that I always make sometimes with Jeff. Jeff's a physical therapist. And he always says, well, I try to balance physical therapy with being a strength coach. Well, you suck as a strength coach. I'm just going to call it. And this is sort of nonsense. And it's because generally the programs he does put out for strength are bad. I mean, you can look at the free ones he's put out, and there's programming problems. It's very clear why he's not strong. It's very clear why Jesse's not strong. It's pretty blaringly obvious. But, and it's stuff like this. It's not going to work. So what's stopping someone from just going and doing some dips in a park? What's stopping someone from going to the local gym and bench pressing? Hotel gym, or finding a gym down the street to get one good bench session in. That will cover your chest development. And I think here's what it comes down to. We see guys like Jeff. He's got a physical therapy background, and I can respect his stuff on face pulls. I can respect some of the stuff he says about shoulder health. I can respect some of the things he says about not pulling pectorals. And again, forearm pulls down here, this little process on doing chin-ups or pull-ups the wrong way. He's got some solid information on that stuff, right? Absolutely. But when it comes over to stuff like chest training or bench pressing, there's a reason Jeff has no chest, and there's a reason he can't bench press. It's thinking stuff like this has a training effect. And I guess my point to this is that the entire concept is flawed, because nobody is realistically in this situation. Nobody, other than maybe an extremely rare individual, is ever in a situation to where this is what they are forced to do. Right? You can find better stuff to do than this, and that would be my point. If you're going to do stuff like this and say, oh, I mean, you're going to have no equipment and you have to do this, well, why don't you pick something that's actually effective? Because this just isn't going to cut it. There's other options. It's kind of like I do in the V-Shred videos all the time when you talk about this stuff for legs, using just your body weight. There's no reason to do that. Right? You can go out in the parking lot of the average hotel and find 100-pound rock right there in the flower beds. You can find something. They've got couches and stuff in the hotel rooms a lot of times. You pick that up. You can use that. You might have to do some straddle lifts or some weird sumo deadlifts or something, but you can lift that. You're not ever forced to use your body weight for these things. And that's ultimately the point with all this stuff. It's ludicrous. It's absurd. And there's just no point in even making a video like this. I literally felt like I was watching Vince from V-Shred. That's literally what it felt like. And they both got about the same size chest. Alright guys, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.